What's up, guys? It's Chris. Thanks for checking the video out. Today we're going to be installing the Kohler Barossa. This is a lifetime warranty faucet. It's really nice. It can be mounted both single hole and with the deck plate. The deck plate has two screws that come down each side, similar to like a old style Delta, things like that. Hans Grohe, some of the older deck mounted faucets use the deck plates. Um, this faucet's actually pretty cool. I like what they're doing. I like that Kohler's trying to go down the road that Delta has paved with the magnetic retractable head. I think that's awesome. So I'm showing you here the weight and the mounting assembly. And yeah, so again, showing you the deck plate for whatever reason. There's a difference between the deck plate and the single hole mount washer. That single hole mount washer has two little nubs on either side, and those are going to correspond with the bottom of the Kohler faucet. So you're going to want to go ahead and slide your your spray hose line and your two supply lines through the washer. Again, make sure those nubs are facing up towards the faucet because they're going to set down in to like corresponding grooves on the faucet. Um, Another nice thing is the bottom of this washer has like some type of foam that they've used to waterproof it, so you don't have to use any putty or anything, silicone, anything like that. I know a lot of guys use silicone. I would only use putty to seal things like that if you didn't have the foam. So once you've slid the faucet into place, it's very simple, just like any other center pull-out spray faucet. Uh, it's got its shank, and you're going to just basically slide the washer plus the plastic washer. Plastic washer first, followed by the metal washer. Slide that over your spray hose and your supply lines. Um, get them up to the very top of the faucet. Have it, nice and at very least hand tight. I like to crank down on it a little bit more with my basin wrench, but to each his own.
So now I'll just go ahead and finish sliding the metal washer on after the plastic washer. I'm going to slide that up onto the bottom of the faucet, up around the shank there. And then I will slip the nut. This nut has two set screws on each side, one on each side. Those help keep the faucet from coming loose over time, and they work really well. I love it when I love the fact that most manufacturers have gone to this mounting style versus just the nut. Number one, they're a lot easier to remove and uninstall if there's ever a problem, or you're changing the faucet out in the future. But number two, they keep the faucet from coming loose over time, which is a really big deal. One thing I always recommend though, and you can get away with just hand tightening it to the base of the countertop there, underneath the countertop. Get it as tight as you can with your hand, but then take your basin wrench or pliers, whatever you've got, and give it an extra little turn there if you can. That will ensure that the faucet does not come loose in the future. And again, with the little set screws, this shouldn't be a problem either way. But it's always good just to cover all your bases. So here I am with my basin wrench. I'm gonna give it a little quarter turn more there, and then you're gonna take your Phillips screwdriver and go ahead and thread those screws up in there. And what those screws are gonna do is they're gonna push up against that metal washer, and pull the faucet down snug against the countertop. And again, this will keep the faucet very sturdy, and you're probably going to want to make sure it's sitting in the right position before you tighten these down, because it's going to be very, very difficult to move the faucet once these are tight. So I would make sure you have the faucet in the position you want it, and maybe have somebody hold it while you tighten it, and there you go. And then to connect the spray hose to the valve of the faucet, it's just that plastic fitting there, just slides right up onto the corresponding plastic fitting coming out of the base of the shank there. And now you're going to want to attach your weight, which I always recommend coming up a little bit after that loop there, you're going to see how I do it right here. Unfortunately, I didn't get the best shot here, but you want to give yourself, I want to say about a foot and a half of hose to pull out of the faucet, out of the gooseneck up top. So just try and visualize that, and you can always adjust it. All these center spray hoses have different weights. The Delta one here is pretty neat. It just clips together. It doesn't have any screws or anything like that. Once you've got that done, you're going to want to make sure that you route your supply lines outside and around, the way the spray hose. You don't want them conflicting with the spray hose at all. When you go to pull the spray hose out, you don't want it to be getting stuck on your lines there or moving things around. So try and route them around as best you can. Attach them to the angle stops, tighten them down. More than hand tight, you need to tighten them down with pliers or channel locks, and then turn them on. Alright guys, so let's finish tightening these two supply lines up real quick with a nice pair of little Nip-X pliers here that I've got. Just showing you that obviously hand tightening was not enough. I get a few more turns out of these guys. And don't mind that other supply line, that's for the dishwasher. It's just hanging there for now. That's for another video. While I've got you here, guys, we are 500 subs away, or no, 600 subs away from 1,000 subs. Please subscribe, guys. Please, I'd really appreciate it. I'm dropping new content all the time. So here we go, on to the review section of this video. As you can see, it's a beautiful faucet. Kohler definitely makes a nice looking faucet. Whenever I have a customer who's I know is looking for something that's gonna look nice, I always steer them towards Kohler. Kohler's got just sleeker looking faucets. They just look nicer. I don't know why or how they do it, but they do it, guys. Every time, Kohler's typically gonna build you the nicest looking faucet. Now, I love the aerated flow. I love the handle. The handle is very easy to use. It's not a type of cartridge that's gonna freeze up on you and be real hard to turn on in a couple of years. That's a couple things that you can be proud of with the Kohler. It's got a real nice tall gooseneck and that magnetic retractable spray head. But the problem with this magnetic retractable spray head is, and this is my first gripe with the faucet, is it doesn't seem to work as well as Deltas. And maybe that's something they'll work out in future builds, and we can probably guarantee that that will happen, because I know most of you are thinking right now, Chris, the retraction doesn't really matter to me. It's not a big deal. I mean, it gets its whip most of the way in there. All you got to do is tap it. But I'm going to tell you right now, most customers are going to be unhappy with that. 9 times out of 10, I install a customer's faucet that they provided. If it's a cheaper style faucet, or it just doesn't have the magnetic retractable spray head that Delta has come to market with, they always hang out a little bit, and no matter where you put the weight or what type of weight or how much weight you put, it's always going to happen. And that really sucks, because it's like it just doesn't look good, and it bugs people. And I don't know, it's always bugged me too, that it bothers people. The fact that it doesn't go back in all the way, I mean, I could really care less, but it bothers people, and that bothers me. So I just wanted to bring that up. It seems like 1 in every 3 pulls I could get it to go back up in there, but it really should be every time go back up in, snug. And when you're paying this kind of money for a faucet, I feel like that's what you should be getting. Okay, so another positive with the faucet, though, is the braided steel pull-down spray hose. You got a braided steel hose there instead of one of those vinyl ones that tend to break or pierce and cause a flood under your sink. The braided steel ones last, and if they start to fray, you can see it before it becomes a problem typically. Again, the handle's real easy, real smooth action, pull down. It should be hot is back, forward is cold. I love the aerated spray. The brush nickel finish will hold up well. Kohler's brush nickel always seems to hold up pretty well.
I like the way it contrasts on the white countertop and backsplash. Nice tall faucet. Like I said, you can fit a variety of things under here: pots, pans, buckets, pets, kids. You know, depending on how deep your sink is. If you've got a real deep sink, you don't necessarily need a super tall gooseneck faucet, but you know, a lot of people don't have the luxury of having a really deep sink, so these tall goosenecks are awesome for those people, you know. And if you do have a tall deep sink, they still look really nice, and like I said, you can put anything in there with this faucet. So it's got a nice lead on the spray hose. I can pull it all the way down pretty much to the garbage disposal flange, which is my goal every time when I am looking for a good faucet. And yeah, guys, so this is the Delta Barossa, and I hope you enjoyed the video. And like I said, please like and subscribe and leave a comment down below. The subscriptions really help us right now, guys. We're almost 1,000, which would make us a YouTube partner. And